Magandang araw po sa lahat. Ako po ay si Joy De Anon mula sa Our Lady of Remedies Parish, Malate. Makakasama ko po ay si Miss Joy Figueron. Hi, Joy.
Hi, ako naman po si Joy Figueron. Isa po ako sa members ng Lectors and Commentators Guild ng Malate Church.
Okay. Kayo po ay malugod naming binabati ng isang malamig at maulan na hapon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the third in the series of Advent Recollections brought together by the Global Catholic Climate Movement Pilipinas or GCCM and partners and the Sangguniang Laiko ng Pilipinas. We are on FB Live courtesy of News eLive.
The title of today's recollection is Imploring Mary, Mother of God, and Our Lady of Remedies in this pandemic Advent. The first one was held on December 5 with Bishop Abilio as speaker, and the second on December 12 with Archbishop Ledesma.
May we invite everybody to please stand up for our opening hymn.
March, para sa opening prayer, March.
Tita March, are you ready with our opening prayer? While we're waiting for Tita March, I'd like to acknowledge also some of the participants from our parish, Our Lady of Remedies, and the other followers of GCCM and Sangguniang Laiko ng Pilipinas. Welcome to our Advent Recollection.
Marge, wala pong audio, Marge. Paki-click na lang yung dalawang boxes below pag nag-share para ma-share yung audio.
Maraming salamat po. Once again, welcome to everyone. Now on our third Advent recollection, we are very fortunate that our parish, Our Lady of Remedies, has been invited to host this afternoon's recollection. So we formally begin our recollection with our first speaker. Let me introduce to you Father John Laydon. He's an Irish parish priest of the Missionary Society of St. Columban. He has been in the Philippines since 1973. Aside from his pastoral work, most of his missionary years were dedicated to social action and ecological work. For several years, he had been the coordinator of the Justice, Peace, and Integrity of Creation Ministry of the Columban Missionaries in the Philippines region. His masteral studies in creation spirituality at the Institute in Culture and Creation Spirituality in Oakland, California, which he completed in 1996, led him to co-found in 1998 the Center for Ecozoic Living and Learning, or CEL, an eco-center dedicated to the universe and Earth through the inspiration of Thomas Berry. Father Laydon was the parish priest of Our Lady of Remedies for 14 years. At present, he is its parochial vicar. Father John is currently a member of the steering committee of the Global Catholic Climate Movement and chairperson of its Philippine chapter, GCCM Pilipinas. Brothers and sisters, let us all welcome Father John Laydon, who will talk about Our Lady of Remedies, the patroness of Malate Catholic Church. Father John.
Thank you, Joy, and welcome to everybody to this recollection on Our Lady of Remedies at this time of Advent and time of crisis. You know, I was thinking I probably should be the last one to speak about this because when it comes to local devotions, I was very much a foreigner, particularly at the start when I came to the Philippines first. Particularly with Philippine devotion to Our Lady. I was in the seminary during the Second Vatican Council when the church was trying to come to grips at last with the, not just condemning, but trying to dialogue and understand the modern world. And the modern world it was realized that people were living without a sense of, sorry about this. People were living without a sense of the sacred, so a secular world. So I had studied how to talk to a secular world. And then I come into the Philippines and it's a world that's bathed in religion. And I remember being assigned in Silang, Cavite, and the patron there was Our Lady of Candelaria. And I remember one day having a conversation with an elderly lady. This was 1973. So she had experienced all the hardship of the Japanese and the war and everything like that. And she was telling me, she was nagtatalambuhay siya sa akin. And she was telling me about her experiences. And every now and then, it was in the church, every now and then she would kind of look up at the statue of Our Lady of Candelaria, and she'd say, you know, si Candelaria talaga, you know. And I just was picking up a great sense of intimacy and solidarity that she had with somebody who was quite powerful and quite understanding, and but such intimacy. And I kind of, in my Western secular kind of cold world, I envied the world that what she was having, the experience that she was having. So the thing about, I think, devotion to Mary in the Philippines is that usually it's a place and a title. And both of those are important. I've heard people in Malate saying, you know, iba si Candelaria, iba si Remedios, kay, you know, Dia. And it can be like that, no? But it's that people have a great sense of identification with Our Lady of Remedies. And I've been in Malate a long time, and I've picked up that sense that people have. There's a lady called Remy, you can imagine, Remy, who is she was a head nurse in a hospital in Chicago, and she comes home every year now, but she has to come to Malate to pay her devotion to her trip wouldn't be right if she didn't come to Malate. And she told me the story that when she was a young child, she was in danger of dying, and her grandmother offered her to Our Lady of Remedies. And she's lived a long and fruitful and a very wonderful life. And but at the heart of it is this relationship she has with Our Lady of Remedies, Remedios. Traditionally, the devotion to Our Lady of Remedies is now concentrated on the children, the health and the healing of children. And the first Saturday of the month is a time when many people bring children to the church in a special way. They come every Saturday, but the first Saturday is usually many more people than the ordinary Saturdays. And I remember reading about the first Columban who came to the Philippines, and he was assigned to Malate. And it must have been around the first Saturday of the month. he wrote back and he said something very strange. I witnessed something very strange today. I think it was the first Saturday. He said it was as if we were invaded in the church by an armada of boats coming from across the bay, coming from Bataan, I think. And they were bringing children to the mass in Malate. So the power of the power of the devotion really astounded him. But Mary, Our Lady of Remedies, the title of Our Lady of Remedies has been associated with other things. I was doing a little bit of research on this. It was associated with the Reconquista, I think, of Spain from the Muslims. And I'm not too happy with Mary as a kind of a backer of wars and things like that against Muslims. And then she was also used with the conquistadores in Mexico as well. So I don't warm too much to that. But there's the original devotion and the original mission of Our Lady of Remedies was under John Matha. He was a Trinitarian priest in the 1200s, and he had an apostolate. His apostolate was to buy back slaves, Christian slaves, from Muslims, so that they would be not forced to become Muslims. And that's why I was looking at the image of Our Lady of Remedies in the church. You look, she has a bag, and it's a money bag. And she was depicted as the one who supported his apostolate by giving him money so that he could buy, so that his people could buy back the slaves. I thought that, I knew that a long time ago, but when I was parish priest, I got a call one day from a Norwegian down in Intramuros, near the cathedral. And he was the head of a Norwegian shipping company. And he wasn't a Catholic, I'd say he was a Lutheran. And he wanted me to go down and solve his problem. His problem was that there was a ship that had been hijacked in the Gulf of Hormuz, or the Strait of Hormuz there off the tip of Africa. And that, of course, there were many Filipinos on board the ship, and they had been kidnapped and taken hostage. And he was trying to deal with the families. And I think he expected me to kind of explain it all to them. And as I was listening, I was saying, oh my God, what am I going to say here, you know? And then talk about the Holy Spirit at work. The Holy Spirit, I got the inspiration that Our Lady of Remedies is a church and is a patron who is dedicated to the rescue of hostages. So I said to them, why don't you come to the parish? We can go to the parish now, and I will give you the novena to Our Lady of Remedies. And you start praying that novena. And, you know, and I told them the story about how that was her mission originally, no? So I never heard from them again, meaning that obviously the problem was resolved. And that's common enough there's lots of kidnappings going on, but they don't broadcast them, and I think it's so that they're free to negotiate and do things that might be illegal if they were, like giving money, if it was official. And then this happened again when there was a Colombian kidnapped in Mindanao, Father Michael Sinnott. And he was out for a number of weeks, and we started the novena. And when we started the novena, we recalled to the people this role of Our Lady of Remedies as with her mission to rescue the hostages. And lo and behold, before the novena finished, Father Michael was released. And he came on the evening of the Visperas to address and to thank Our Lady of Remedies and to thank the parish for praying for him. So over the years, I have envied, and then I have allowed Our Lady of Remedies to become part of my devotion also. And then I discovered that there was something more personal for me in it. When I was growing up, we were in a very small village, but we were in the square, and the church was down. On the way to the church was my Lola's house, and I would pass by that on the way to the church. And I always remember my granduncle's wife would, maraming biyaya, if I was making my first communion or if I was doing my confirmation or something, my biyaya Jan. So I would always visit that house, no? But in that house, there was a photograph in the sitting room. There was a photograph of a priest. It was the brother of the woman who was married to my granduncle. In other words, she would have been the bilas, I think, of my Lola. And the priest was Father Peter Fallon, who was one of the priests here who was killed. And I'm sure he must have had a devotion to Our Lady of Remedies also. And the last time they were seen, the priests were seen, they were marched out at gunpoint in their underwear. And they were never seen ever again. So the devotion to Our Lady of Remedies, for me, has become a very personal thing also. But I'm thinking of Our Lady of Remedies at this time of COVID crisis. And in many ways, we are all held hostage because of the COVID crisis. And, I like praying to Our Lady of Remedies to rescue us from this. But the situation, the way we're going to be rescued is, the situation is that some time ago, we declared war on nature. And we're not winning the war. We are destroying the habitats of other species that are the habitats of viruses. And these viruses have no more habitats. So where do they go? They go to the human. So I think Our Lady of Remedies is somebody to pray to guide us and to lead us to ecological conversion so that we will be freed from our being hostage to the mess that we have created. So may we all keep in good spirits with the help of Our Lady of Remedies during this time of COVID, and that our spirits may be inspired to keep hoping in this time of Advent. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Father John. Thank you for that very insightful sharing about the devotion of Our Lady of Remedies. It is indeed remarkable how people from different places, both local and abroad, have developed a great sense of identification to Our Lady of Remedies. If anything good out of this COVID, I can personally attest that because of our online masses, a lot of people, especially those already abroad, they have remained connected with our parish because of our masses. So it is really remarkable how people have really been so faithful to Our Lady of Remedies. Maraming salamat, Father John.
Our second speaker, yes, our second speaker hails from Marbel, South Cotabato. Before he joined the Missionary Society of St. Columban, he worked with the tribal people in Lake Cebu, South Cotabato for 6 years, teaching grade school students and working as a liaison to the different tribal communities in the area. Right after his ordination in 1996, he was assigned for a few months in Malabang, prelature of Marawi, where he taught and worked among Christians and Muslim students. Soon after that, he was assigned to work in the formation of Columban seminarians in Chicago. Shortly after his return to the Philippines, he was installed as the first Filipino Columban parish priest of Our Lady of Remedies Parish or Malate Church in May 2014. At present, he is concurrently the Vice Superior of the Regional Council of Columbans in the Philippine area. Now he will talk about Mary, the Mother of God. Please welcome Father Leo Distor.
Muted.
Okay. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Isa po sa mga napakahalagang tawag na sa ating mahal na Inang Maria ay ang Mary as the Mother of God. You know, I think my background as a child, you know, we were groomed and we were brought up and introduced to reverence to the Blessed Virgin Mary, who is the Mother of God, you know, and have grown into it. And I was just kind of thinking that while much of the world would mark the new beginning of the calendar year with a bang, with fireworks and everything like that, I think the Catholic Church opens and marks the new calendar year in the name of the Mother. I think it is the commemoration of the solemnity of the Mother of God. You know, the Mother of God is the most important title of Mary, who is the Theotokos or the God bearer. To understand the title of Mother of God, I think we must first clearly understand Mary's role as Mother of our Savior, Jesus Christ. You know, that the Blessed Virgin Mary is the Mother of God means that the child conceived in her womb by the power of the Holy Spirit, carried in her body for 9 months, and born into this world is God. You know, the reason that the early church council maybe pronounced this doctrine was Christ. Mary as a mother or as the Mother of God is really the link between her son's of Jesus. She is the sign that he is both God and human. And if Jesus was God and Mary was his mother, then that would make her the Mother of God. However, we know probably that there was an objection, and this is just coming from my own kind of research as well. To Christ's human nature and not his divine nature. And that Mary is not the Mother of God, but the Mother of Jesus, or the Mother of Christ, the human Jesus. So it was only at this point that I began to really kind of focus into this. You know, like I thought all the while that everything is just the same. You know, like you can call Mary as the Mother of the Church, the Mother of the universe, you know, the Mother of all. But to be able to focus on this particular area of, you know, of identifying or naming Mary as the Mother of God, you know, it just kind of, you know, like, you know, occurred to me that, you know, the Council of Ephesus in the 5th century officially recognize that Jesus is one person with two natures, the human and divine, united in a true union. So the council affirmed that our Blessed Mother can rightfully be called the Mother of God, who is Jesus Christ as well. So the council insisted on the use of the title, Theotokos, the Mother of God or the God-bearer, to reaffirm the central truth of what occurred in the incarnation of Jesus Christ. When we identify the Blessed Virgin Mary as the Mother of God, I think, of course, the emphasis is primarily about Christ. Mary being referred to as the Mother of God tells us that Jesus Christ is God and was always God. She gave birth to Jesus Christ, both God and human. And to call Mary the Mother of God also reminds us of this, that God is close to humanity, that God is also one of us, even as a child is close to the mother who bears him in her womb. That from the moment that our Lord became incarnate in Mary, and for all time, he took on our humanity. He became, like us. There is no longer God without man, or the flesh of Jesus, or the flesh who is Jesus, took from his mother, is our own now and for all eternity. So in his mother, the God of heaven, who is the infinite God, kind of made himself small, made himself simple, only to be with us, but also not only to be with us, but also to be like us. This is the miracle, probably. This is the great novelty, that we can think of, that man is no longer alone, that no more an orphan, but forever a child. And the year opens with this novelty, and we proclaim it by saying, Mother of God, ours is the joy of knowing that our solitude has ended. It's the beauty of knowing that we are beloved children. And this beautiful title of Mary, the Mother of God, somehow leads us to an understanding and the role of Mary, kind of grasping a deeper truth concerning the meaning of her life, her fiat, her yes, to God's will. And one thing is said about the Mother of God, that Mary kept all these things, pondering them in her heart. And what are these things? Probably these are the joys, the sorrows, the hopes and the worries, the light and darkness. On the one hand, the birth of Jesus, that brings joy, or the love of Joseph, the visit of the shepherds, or the radiant light. But on the other hand, uncertainties of the future as well. There was homelessness, there was desolation of rejection, there was disappointment of having to give birth to Jesus in a stable. All these things dwelt in the heart of Mary. She pondered them. And that is to say that she dwelt on this with God in her heart. She held nothing back. She lacked nothing within, out of self-pity or resentment. Instead, I think she gave everything over to God. And this is how she kept those things. So it is like saying that, like we keep things when we hand them over, by not letting our lives become, prey to fear, distress, really, by not closing our hearts or trying to forget, but by turning everything into a dialogue with God. And then God, who keeps us in his heart, then comes to dwell in our own lives as well. So I think it is leading us to a greater understanding of the call to every Christian to live our lives for God as Mary did. And it is, we cannot deny that the Filipino culture is very much a matriarchal culture. And I think the devotion to the Blessed Mother, or the Mother of God, is quite strong. And it begins, from the very young age, of Filipinos. I think this reflection really has strengthened our own mission to also bring the world, to the new world recreated in Jesus. The church, which is his body on earth, and a seed of the kingdom which is to come, the church of which we are members through baptism, continues the redemptive mission of Jesus Christ until he returns. And so this wonderful, title, Mary, the Mother of God, reveals really a profound truth, not only about Mary, but about each one of us. We are now invited into the very relationship that she had with her son Jesus. We can become God bearers as well and bring Jesus to all those whom we encounter. That when we fail to receive the gift of Mary as mother, we can also miss the call of every Christian to bear Jesus for the world as Mary did. And I think it is time for us to re-examine the deeper implication of the treasure that is found in the life example and message of the Virgin of Nazareth. So when we were kind of thinking about, are we going to push through with our fiesta celebration? We had a lot of discussions about this. Just thinking of how we are able to do this. Considering all the limitations and the protocols that we have to also observe. But we come up, with the Parish Pastoral Council. Also, we realize that throughout the ages, Christians have turned really to Mary in troubled times, like this pandemic, like this war, famine, probably plague, and we know that it happened in the history. Mary offers hope. Mary offers healing and comfort to all who are in need of her maternal or motherly care as well. So Our Lady of Remedies is, as what Father John was saying there, is a sure refuge, is a source of our comfort and hope. And she's always ready to assist us, always there for us, constantly for her children, especially in times of these great dangers such as the current pandemic. So it gives me a great opportunity to be able to somehow reflect on this and be grateful, as we are celebrating, as we are journeying in the season of Advent, how strongly I am feeling the guidance, the lead that Mary has been doing in our own lives and as a parish community as well. So maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Father Leo, for that very inspiring talk. A very beautiful reminder, especially at these times, knowing that we have a mother like Mama Mary to run to for guidance and comfort. Tita Joy?
Okay, maraming salamat, Father Leo. So at this point, we will now go to our third speaker. Let me introduce to you Miss Ruby Denofra. Ate Ruby, as I fondly call her, was born and raised in Malate, Manila. She is a teacher by profession. After graduation and passing the Teachers Board examinations, she taught in Malate Catholic School. After a few years, she decided to serve in public schools. She taught economics in Esteban Abada High School for several years. 2 years ago, she was promoted and is now a department head of social sciences in Ramon Magsaysay High School, one of the largest high schools in Metro Manila. She has been recognized and awarded as one of the most outstanding public school teachers in Manila. But all her life, she has been a parish volunteer in Malate Church, starting as a choir member at a tender age until she was a young mother of 2 children. Presently, Ate Ruby is a member of the Lectors and Commentators Guild, the Education Ministry, the Public Affairs Ministry. She is also the incumbent secretary of our Parish Pastoral Council. Brothers and sisters, let us welcome Ate Ruby Denofra.
Unmute. Muted ka.
You have to unmute, Rob.
Okay, Father. Ayan na po. Okay, okay na po. Okay na po ang sound ko. Okay. Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. Thank you, Joy, for that beautiful introduction. Okay. My devotion to Our Lady of Remedies began during my early years in life and developed slowly in my heart. And I owe that to my mother, Ninita Regala. She asked for the intercession of Our Lady to have a daughter, since she and my father had six sons consecutively. Sunod-sunod po yun, 6 na lalaki. They longed for a baby girl. Her prayers were heard when she gave birth to me. Her first daughter, 1960 po yun. Ever since I can remember, my mother brought me with her to Malati Church every Saturday for the children's mass and every Sunday with my other siblings. At the age of 8, I knew to recite the mystery, the rosary by myself. And I became close to Our Lady of Remedies. At lalo pa po itong pinaigting ng mga volunteers sa Malate na nagpupunta po bahay-bahay na para ipalaganap ang devotion kay Mama Mary. I remember pa nga po sila Dr. Sixto Tan, tsaka si Ma'am Boots Reyes of Aristocrat. Inintroduce po nila sa amin ang Black Rosary. First, I was only a participant. Kaming magkakaibigan, 4 po kami. Participants lang po kami sa Black Rosary. But dumating po ang panahon, tumagal ang panahon, na kami na po ang nagli-lead ng Rosary. Ako po yung leader ng Black Rosary. So, that time, wala pang merienda, no? Wala pang snack. Pag sa Black Rosary, wala pa. So, very active kami sa Black Rosary. So, na-memorize ko. I was happy doing the Black Rosary. Na-memorize ko yung litanies, tsaka yung mystery. Na-memorize ko yan. So, then I was also active sa Flores de Mayo, where we offered flowers to Our Lady after praying the Rosary. So patuloy pang lumalim ang devotion ko kay Mama Mary dahil talagang patuloy akong inilalapit ng nanay ko at mga taong nasa paligid ko. During early years ng high school ko, nagkaroon kami ng mabigat na problema sa pamilya. Pero I did not see any change in my mother's behavior kahit may mga problema. Basta we continue attending the Saturday Mass and every Sunday. I would see her crying while praying, but I never asked her why. I thought it was only because she was really deep in her prayers. Yung pala, she was asking na for the intercession of Mama Mary to give her strength to endure all the pain inside her. Throughout our family life, hindi ko nakitang nag-hint na may problema na pala kami. In facing problems, my mother drew her strength from her faith and her devotion to Our Lady of Remedies. Our Lady of Remedies is the strength of my mother during the difficult times in our family. Doon ko nakita kung paano dinala ng mother ko whatever difficulties. Parang sinurrender niya na lahat kay Mama Mary. My mother shared this experience when I was already in college, and her devotion really inspired me. Kaya tulad ng mother ko, lahat ng mga highlights ng buhay ko ay attributed to Our Lady of Remedies. First is my first teaching job in Malate Catholic School. Honestly, I had no intention of applying or teaching in private school because most of my relatives and auntie ko, uncle ko are all in public school. So talagang persuade nila ako to teach in public school. Pero that time, wala pa yung result ng PBET, yung Philippine Board Exam for Teachers. Requirements yun para makapag-apply ka sa public. Ano na yan last week na ng May, June, pasukan na. Wala pa akong work. And I really love teaching. Talagang excited na ako magturo kasi fresh graduate ako noon So I prayed to Our Lady of Remedies. Punta ako sa simbahan. I asked her to give me a job, to find me a job. And sinwerte naman, I heard from also a volunteer in Malate Parish, si Ma'am Evelyn Balunsay. She was teaching in Malate that time sa boys elementary department siya. And she told me that Malate Boys High Department is in need of teachers. So, the day after that, I went to Malate Catholic School, Boys Department, and I applied there. Then my interview with the principal, si Ma'am Jimenez. And luckily, natanggap naman ako kaagad. So, last week ng May yun, then first week of June, nagpirma na ako ng kontrata. 3 years ang probation nun kasi wala pa nga akong PBET, hindi pa ako licensed. Pero sa private, pwede yun. 3 years ang probation mo. So after that, nung matanggap na ako, I went to Malate Church. Nag-pray ako kay Our Lady of Remedies. I thank her. Sabi ko, Mama Mary, thank you. Siguro, talagang plan mo nasa Malate ako. Kaya yun, nag-opening na ang klase, nag-start na ako sa Malate. Then after 1 week lang ng opening ng klase, lumabas na yung result ng PBET. 1 week lang yun lumabas na yung result ng PBET. Kaya sabi ko, ano ba ito? Talagang gusto ko sa public. Pero there's no backing out kasi nag-sign ako ng contract baka mademanda ako ng breach of contract. So maybe yun ang plano talaga niya sa akin. Maybe talagang sinabi ko, maybe this is the plan of the Lord sa akin to intercession of Mama Mary. Talagang doon niya ako dinala na parang mas malapit talaga rin sa kanya. And I think pre-prepared niya ako to be a good teacher. Kasi sa Malate Catholic School, sagana kami sa seminars, sa trainings, professionally and spiritually, dinevelop ka talaga. Na-develop talaga ako as a good teacher. So I stayed in Malate Catholic School for 5 years, 1981 to 1986 school year, 1986. Then, after that, I transferred sa public school. 1986, nag-transfer na ako sa public school. Noong una, ayaw ako payagan ni Sister Mary Laeticia. Pero, nahimo ko rin siya. Pero sabi niya, I can return anytime na hindi ako, na mabigo ako dyan sa public, pwede akong bumalik sa Malate Catholic School. So, nag-thank you ako for that. So, 1986 na nga po, nandun ako sa public school. At masasabi kong blessing din yun na merong ding role pa rin si Our Lady of Remedies sa akin dun Kasi kung may blessing niya yung pagkalipat ko sa public school. Why? Kasi nag-substitute ako for only 1 week. And usually pag substitute ka, tumatagal, palipat-lipat ka ng school. Pero ako 1 week lang, then I got a permanent item sa Esteban Abada High School. Na permanent kagad ako. Kaya sabi ko siguro talagang blessing din talaga. Talagang niya rin na pinapayagan niya na ako na nandun ako sa public school para magamit ko na kung ano yung mga natutunan ko sa Malate Catholic School. So, after 2 years lang nun, I was recognized and I was awarded as an outstanding teacher of that school. Naging outstanding teacher kagad ako 2 years. Then, 1991, I was promoted from teacher 1, naging master teacher 1 ako. Kaya I believe all of this happened because of my constant communication with Mama Mary. So every day po after teaching, dumadaan po ako sa kanya kasi on the way yung papunta talaga pauwi sa amin eh. And I thank her for the day at kung may mga hindi magandang pangyayari, I also tell her, I really feel my spirits light up. Gumagana ang damdamin ko kapag nasasabi ko sa kanya lahat. Pati mga contest ko na sinasalinan, mga contest na sinasalinan ko, na tinitrain ko mga bata, talagang sa kanya ko pinagdarasal na lagi kaming manalo. Pero I see to it na I do my best as a trainer, ganun din naman yung estudyante. Kaya pag contest na, bago kami gabi yun, pupunta ako sa kanya, hapon punta ako sa kanya, I pray na sasabihin ko sa kanya, Mama Mary, I did my best. I trained the student, then the student also sacrifice for winning. Kayo na po ang bahala sa huli. Kasi even though that we are prepared, if not your will, wala din po. Kaya kayo na pong bahala. And luckily, pagyayabang ko po na most of my contest, nananalo po kami first place. At yan nga po nakapag-contribute din sa akin uli para maging outstanding teacher na sa buong Manila na po. Hindi na po sa school lang. Sa buong Manila na po yun. Noong 2010 po yan. Okay. So, even my marriage, Mama Mary has important role. When I was younger, I prayed that Mama Mary would help me find a man that is for me. One who would be a good husband and father. Ninunubin ako yun. And she did it. I met my husband in Malati Church where he was also a choir member like me. Si Saldi po yun. To make the story short, we got married in Malati Church. My husband and I continued to be members of the choir until we had children. Even sa pagkakaroon po ng anak, talagang dinasal ko rin po yun. Because I married late 30s na yun, mga 31 years old na. And they said that if you married mga 30, it will be hard for you to bear a child. Sabi nila yun. So talagang ang nobina ko, pagpiesta, then Lisa Aguinaldo, yun ang intention ko, na bigyan niya naman ako ng anak, na wag ako mahirapan na magkaroon ng anak. And dininig niya ulit ako. God, hear my prayer with the intercession of Our Lady of Remedies. And I know she is in my life. Pati Obigayni ko, also a devotee of Mama Mary. She was also the doctor of my mother when she was having me. Kaya siya rin yung nagpaanak sa nanay ko nung ako lumabas. Then nung manganak ako, siya rin ang Obigayni ko. Yan. Devotee yan kay Mama Mary. Lagi rin yan nagsisimba sa Our Lady of Remedies. Kaya when I gave birth, I had no difficult time, no hassle. Ang dali kong manganak. So, I gave birth to a baby girl in 1991. Then, ganun din ginawa ko. Nilapit ko rin siya kay Mama Mary, kung ano yung ginawa ng nanay ko sa akin. Sumbisimba rin ako kami every Saturday, then Sunday. Then, pumirit ako sa Our Lady of Remedies. Mga 2 years yun. Sabi ko, Mama Mary, if you have planned to give me another baby, sana po, pakihiling po kay Papa Jesus, boy na. Para po, partner na. And, yun na nga po. She gave me a baby boy for my second child. Di ba po? Nakakatuwa. So sabi nga nung Obigayni ko, lakas mo talaga kay Aling Remedios. That is the Our Lady of Remedies. Now, at present, we are living in Sampaloc. So kahit malayo na ang tirahan namin, patuloy pa rin ako hinihila ng paa ko sa Our Lady of Remedies. Parang iba talaga yung bonding na namin. At yung devotion ko kay Mama Mary, ganun pa rin ka-intense. Siya pa rin ang talagang takbuhan ko at lahat talaga na nangyayari sa buhay ko, alam ko at ramdam ko na tinutulungan niya ako. Parati niya itong iniaahin sa Panginoon. Especially in this time of pandemic, I really look up to her and pray for the safety of my loved ones, especially my daughter who is a nurse. Okay. I hope my story will inspire you. Our Lady of Remedy has helped me a lot in my life. She helps everyone who asks for her intercession. Sinasabi nga sa Nobina sa Mahal na Birhen ng Remedios, tunay na siya ay namamagitan para sa akin, sa anak niyang banal, na ipagkaloob niyang kay daming kahilingang idinudulog ko sa kanya. Ganito na lang po. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig. Gandang hapon po ulit.
Maraming salamat, Ate Ruby, for that very touching sharing. No? Yung stories mo about Black Rosary, Mayo, they bring back many happy memories of our childhood growing up in Malate community. I strongly believe many parishioners, many devotees of Our Lady of Remedies could really relate well with your story. No? I personally can relate to your story. No? Konting years lang naman ang tanda mo sa akin. So,
Oo nga.
I always remember yung sinasabi ng father ko na basta pag may problema, tawag ka lang kay Our Lady of Remedies. Re-remedyohan niya kahit anong problema.
Okay, yun din sa mother ko.
Fit na fit talaga yung kwento mo sa lahat. No? Maraming salamat ulit, Ate Ruby, for sharing your special devotion to Our Lady.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Choy.
magkakaroon po tayo ng group session. We will be joining some groups. So magkakaroon po tayo ng pagkakataon na magbahagian ng ating mga reflections sa tatlong sharers natin kanina. So, Joy, can you give them the guide questions?
We have 2 reflection questions po. Yung una is, share a particular experience with Mary in your life. And the second is, what should we look to for Mary in these times of the COVID crisis?
Okay, salamat, Joy. So, may magpa-facilitate po para kayo po ay mapunta sa inyong mga grupo at babalik po tayo after 20 minutes. So, sana let us grab this opportunity, no, to be able to share our own experiences, our own reflections doon sa tatlong topic kanina. So we will be back after 20 minutes. Maraming salamat po.
Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. We will have a breakout rooms. May mag-appear na mga dialogue box sa screen ninyo. Paki-click na lang. I would like to invite si Ma'am Ruby, yung mga sharers, to stay in the main room para we will continue with some discussions with June. At saka yung iba, please click the screen para you go to the breakout rooms. And we will, I think, nandoon naman sa chat box yung mga question for reflections. So, pwede tingnan doon para you remember all the guide questions.
Okay po.
Okay. So, there will be around 2 or 3 in each group para madami tayong time for sharings.
John, did you say we shouldn't go? The ones who spoke shouldn't join?
Room?
Yeah, just stay in the main room.
Okay, sige.
And I think June also will stay in the main room.
Good afternoon, Father John. Good afternoon,
Hello,
Father Leo, and to all the sharers and John. Well, actually, we're staying here in the main room because once the breakout happens, continuous po live yung lumalabas sa CBCP, sa iba-ibang mga Facebook page. Pero pag walang nakita yung mga tao na nagsasalita, pag nagpatugtog lang tayo ng music, some of them would leave. So for those who are watching now the live broadcast of this recollection, samahan nyo lang po kami. Nandito po ang mga speakers, nandito po yung mga leaders ng GCCM to expound on the insights we have heard this afternoon. And again, with the permission of John, I would like to introduce myself. I am June Cruz, the PRO of the Sangguniang Laiko ng Pilipinas, and that this has been one of the fruit of the pandemic that we're working together because we are fratelli tutti. We are all brothers and sisters, and we are laudato si. We are all interconnected. Yun po yun. So thank you for allowing me to stay here in the main hall, and I'm very thankful also for all the presenters this afternoon.
Very good, Ruby. I haven't heard you speak before. This is a first for you, no?
Yes, Father. Kaya kabado. I almost cried. I remember my mother kasi. Kaya I almost cried talaga.
Yeah, syempre.
Father John, I'm very happy to hear your stories also. Nakakatuwa po, especially ngayon ko lang narinig yung may money bag pala, Our Lady of Remedies. Ay talagang manunubos pala talaga siya, no? Talagang at practical na manunubos. Sabi ko, kung may lalapitan ako, yung saltong may hawak na money bag talaga.
Yeah, that's an appealing.
Sa panahon ng crisis, yeah.
I think the current statue in the church, may bag siya. I was looking up the other images. Walang masyado online. Pero the one we have now, parang I think there is, yeah.
I think that was 5 years ago when we were nag-uusap-usap kami kung ano yung distinction. What is distinct about the Lady of Remedies. Kaya nung binasa yung background niya, yun ang kanyang gawain, no? She is helping itong dalawang brothers na maglikom ng pera upang matubos yung mga alipin. So that's why it's a group kind of discernment din siguro kung sasabihin natin ganun, na this is the character that we would like to portray also sa Our Lady of Remedies, kasi yun ang pagkakaiba niya siguro maliban lang doon sa mga hugis ng baro, sa mga but I think this is something more kind of accurate in terms sa kasaysayan ng Our Lady of Remedies.
I think Father Leo, very din talaga significant yan, especially to our people right now, those who are listening and those who will continue to listen in the forthcoming may mga viewings po yan. Kasi tuloy-tuloy lang pong pag-view ng mga tao. That in this, sabi nga ni Father John, in this current situation, we are held hostages. And that alam naman natin na in the end, meron talagang tutulong sa atin. May tutubo sa atin in very practical ways.
Yeah, that's true.
And to know that there's a lady there, sabi ni Father, pag pumupunta siya ron sa parang grandfather or grand-uncle, may mga biyaya doon, may biyaya doon. Kung alam mo palang may biyaya doon, pupuntahan ko talaga yung lugar na yon, And it compels me to say, ay, may biyaya pala doon sa Our Lady of Remedies. Tara, puntahan natin ang mahal na ina. So nakakatuwa po yung mga significant truths na yon.
Why did you choose? You were the one that it was your idea, June, to have this.
Well, Father, for the benefit of those who are listening right now, GCCM and LICO has been working together for quite some time now. And during this time of the pandemic, we decided to come up with a joint Advent recollection. And of course, when we talk about Advent, we talk about hope, we talk about waiting. But in the end, meron pa palang isang Saturday extra that can be done on December 19, okay? I was thinking, ano yung pwede? Okay? And I know that in God's plan, I felt that in God's plan of sending His Son, there is one who exemplified that hope, that waiting, that motherly instinct. Sabi ko sino ba talaga ang naghihintay? In fact, pag nagsimbang gabi na nga, yung nobina daw ay para din kay Mama Mary. Parang ganon, it's her time of waiting, that 9 days. So sabi ko, it's Our Lady. And if GCCM is there at the Our Lady of Remedies, kailangan natin ang ina ng remedios para sa mga panahon natin. But I did not see the significance. Okay? Kinonect ko lang yung GCCM, nasa remedios, may hope, naghihintay. Pero ngayon ako yung na-inspire. Ako yung na-blessed. So thank you very much, Father John, and all the GCCM people doing this.
Yeah. I was doing some research recently on slavery. You know, we have no idea, but for a long time in history, it was the most lucrative business in society. Just like, you know, we have oil and we have data in our current, we still have slavery, of course, and it's very lucrative also, but it's forbidden. But it was kind of taken as normal in medieval times. And it was, and especially also with the establishment of the United States, it was a big business. And it wasn't just a matter of, you know, objecting to slavery. You were objecting to a big economic project, you know. It would be it would have been bigger than the oil industry in our present society, or any big business like or Google or anything like that. Yeah. Very. So I can imagine, you know, that there were constant taking of hostages going on. I'm sure the Christians were doing it to the Muslims as well, no? But you can imagine where an apostolate like this would have come from, no? And it's nice to make, I think it's nice to make historical connections also. But I was very happy with the Norwegian, you know, the families there. They all got we had a copy of the novena, and they were all very happy with it, yeah.
Father, for the benefit of those who are watching us also, where can we get that particular novena? Nasa Google ba yan? Or pupunta ba kami doon po sa website ng...
I'll refer you to the parish priest of Malate.
Simply because now that we know that there is a very powerful novena that can even rescue hostages. And we want to find out at this point in time, who are the hostages in the society. Alam lang natin, nasa kwarta sa mga bahay na tayo, but there are institutions being held hostages. There are countries being held hostages, parang ganon, hostage. And for us to be able to find a prayer that can really just break and loosen the bonds of slavery and hostage is a very powerful and significant contribution to our world now. Na meron pala tayong pwedeng dasalin that can really release people from being enslaved.
I'm not sure, Father Leo, I'm not sure if it's mentioned in the novena. It's
I think well, we have the meron po tayong mga booklets dito at saka yung nito Brother John, I mean Our Lady of Remedies, we have it here in Manila and dito sa Malate, but it is also a big devotion in Pampanga. So there are several, there are several parishes named after or dedicated to Our Lady of Remedies. Basically it's very, very devotional in the sense, but I think maybe having a different look into all of these things. Yun nga yung sinasabi na magkakaroon talaga ito ng saysay sa bawat panahon ng ating buhay. I mean, you're right. I think there is this existing problems and issues, of people being enslaved by whatever, even attachments and being close to be able to see the bigger perspective of life also, or I mean this would cover a lot of things. So kung minsan yun yung pagiging alipin na pinili natin mismo na magiging alipin of something, magiging sarado sa paningin sa mga bagay-bagay din. So we have the guide dito po sa parokya. We haven't, I don't think we have uploaded that yet sa website, but it will be of help. We can take a look at that and see.
Sige po, hanapin ko po. Hindi po naka-video on ngayon, pero nakikita ko po kasama natin dito yung presidente naman ng Council of the Laity of Manila, si Brother Ted Santiago. Brother Ted, naririnig mo ba kami? So si Brother Ted po ay nagkasakit din. So yung Our Lady of Remedies, hindi lang pambata. So kailangan mo din, Brother Ted. So pinagdasal ka namin. And maybe next time, alam naman namin kung ano na gagamitin panalangin para sa iyo. And even at this time, we also pledge to those who are listening now that we will continue to pray for those who are sick. Alam naman ni Mama Mary kung sino yung nangangailangan ng prayers eh. So you can either put your chat doon sa YouTube. If you have prayers sa YouTube, sabihin nyo lang, please pray for us, and we see that, we monitor that. Pagdadasal din po namin kayo. Jan, ang ganda-ganda nitong ginawa nyo dyan. Ako'y natutuwa.
I think maraming salamat sa parokya ng Malate for taking the responsibility for it. I thought it was beautiful sharing there about Mary. First time I have heard that. So it was good to listen to the story. And also to the story of Ruby. I think it's a very personal experience. Yes. And it's very hard, and you can see the sincerity and the integrity of the whole sharing when you listen to the story. So I think stories like that are very important because that's how we evangelize, by telling our story, not telling the story of other people, but the story of our lives. I think is more powerful as a means for, especially now that we're celebrating the Mission Ad Gentis. I think that's our call to tell our stories of relationship with the divine. So I think thank you for the Parish of Malate for that initiative.
Ang ganda dyan, sinabi mo. Kasi tinatanong namin sa sarili namin, paano ba tayong makaka-contribute dito sa Mission Ad Gentis? Mission to outsiders na to, hindi naman natin mapapakinig ng mga recollection to sa atin. Sabi ko, but now you're telling us through the stories that we have. So kung madidevelop lang natin itong mga stories na to, ang gaganda, imagine, sabi ni Ma'am Ruby, 6 na lalaking sunod-sunod at humihingi ng pampito. Ako naintindihan ko yun kasi yung wife ko, 6 na babaeng sunod-sunod. Kaya hindi tumigil, naghanap. So finally, ikapito, nagkakakuha sila ng lalaki. hindi lang pinangalan ng Ruby kasi lalaki, no? Pero you are really a Ruby, a story to be told. So talagang kung other people can just easily get already the point, pwede pala ako lumapit. There's a lady and there's a God who listens to our prayers. And true stories pala itong Miss Agentes, pwede natin i-promote talaga.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tan.
Naalala ko rin ngayon ko lang naalala yung kwento din ng mother ko. Ang mother ko is very malakas na devotee ng mahal na Inang Maria. Kaming magkakapatid, 6 kami pero 4 yung babae, namatayan kami, yung elder brother ko, and then ako yung naiwan. So may mga kapitbahay kami. We had one neighbor noon na parang yung youngest child niya ay babae, marami siyang mga anak na lalaki. So alam niya yung mother ko is very devoted to the Blessed Virgin Mary at saka maraming anak na babae. So alam mo ang nangyari dito, ginawa niya, sabi niya, pwede bang bigyan mo ako ng kandila? No? And they are kind of an exchange na binigyan siya ng mother ko ng kandila tapos binigyan ng siguro 25 centavos yung mother ko. Actually asking for a prayer para sa anak niyang babae. No? And then, like sa awa ng Diyos na-survive yung anak niyang babae dahil maliit pa, may sakitin na. So that was that's another way of, like Filipinos or itong mga devotions to the Blessed Mother is touching, like and it's nasa sa kaibuturan ng buhay ng mga ina, most especially. So it was a very good experience also to somehow look back into that.
It's something I'm very thankful for also is the devotion of people. Lalim, no? And as a priest, it's very inspiring. No, I mean you feel kind of supported in your mission. That with the depth of people's devotion and their religiosity, no. So thank you, Ruby, and all the devotees of Our Lady of Remedies.
Welcome po.
Kasali ako dyan ngayon, sa gawa ng lola ko.
Okay, so I will bring the group back now to the main room. Okay.
Sir June, just to check. So after they come back dito sa plenary, we will ask a few people.
Yeah, and we have. I think we have enough time, Joy.
Yes.
So maybe we can ask one from the group because we have another 30 minutes before we finish.
Okay.
We may leave a little early. For Bishop Pabilio is coming here at 4 to do a kasal, no?
Okay.
Oh.
Sige, I will bring the group back.
How many groups po pala ang na-create natin para representatives from each group?
I think there's only 4 groups, Joy.
4 groups lang po.
Yeah, I've asked them to choose one, like at least to share what was shared in their groups. Maybe that's good to start. Okay, over to you.
Masarap ang sharing, ayaw umalis sa breakout rooms.
May mga naiwan pa po ba sa breakout rooms? Right now, I can see about 17 participants. Kanina were almost 20 plus.
Yeah, we're still 13 seconds before the rooms are closed. So they're coming. They're still coming.
Okay, so I will randomly call on people na lang to share per
yes.
group. Sige po.
Okay.
So I hope marami kayong mga natutunan, marami tayong mga inspiring anecdotes na pick up from our group mates.
I think nagbalik na lahat, Joy.
Okay, so welcome back po sa ating mga participants. We are all back in the plenary. So at this point, kayo po ay nagkaroon ng mga small sharing. So nice rin naman po namin matutunan or marinig yung mga sharings na ginawa nyo sa inyong mga individual group. So probably I can start with my group number 1. I'd like to call Dr. Carmen. Dr. Carmen Alviar.
Sige po. Okay. You know, there are 3 members of our group, MJC. M stands for Margie, Attorney Marge. J stands for Joy, and C, Carmen. And this also summarized, MJC summarized what we felt about Mary. Okay. That Mary is full of joy and compassion. Mary, full of joy and compassion. Why joy? Because in our sharings, parang we cling to Mary. We cling to Mary as, you know, na-lockdown ka, nakulong ka, you're alone, then you call on Mary as a mother. Okay, that brings you joy. And also compassion, kaya nga remedies. Kasi yung hirap na hirap ka na, and then you need someone to console you, and Mary is a very compassionate person. Thank you po. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Carmen. No? So maybe we can hear someone from Group 2. Sino po ang mga members ng Group 2?
Okay, okay po, kami po yung sa Room 2. Kasama ko po, kung pong sila, meron din po kaming abbreviation. Meron kaming JTB. Ayan, ano naman yung JTB? Si Sister Joy Piguron at Sister Tess de Guzman at Dr. Venice. Ayan po. At natutuwa po ako sa dalawa kasi parehas pala sila, magkababayan. Kaya nagkakumustahan pa. Napakaganda po ng aming bonding. Ayan. Kaya sabi ko, huwag kayong magsasalita ng Bisaya kasi baka hindi ko kayo maintindihan. Ayan. At pinagbigyan naman po ako at maganda naman po yung aming naging sharing. Talaga po, unang-una po, si Mama Mary as mother of Jesus. Sabi nga po, Mother of God. At ayon po sa natutuhan ko, ibig sabihin ng Mother of God is Theotokos. Na ibig sabihin, bilang ina ng Diyos, siya rin ay ina nating lahat, Mother of all nature. At bilang ina nating lahat, sabi nga po ni Sister Joy, kapag dumarating siya sa maraming problema, pagsubok, although nandyan yung kanyang mga magulang, nandyan kanyang mother, pero pag dumarating in the absence of her mother, nandyan lagi si Mama Mary para mag-guide sa kanya, para magbigay ng lakas ng loob, para kung ano may mga pagsubok na kinakaharap niya, kanya mapagtagumpayan. At talaga pong mula pa lamang sa kanyang pagkabata ay devotee na po siya ni Mama Mary. Yon. Si Dr. Venice naman po, para sa kanya, hindi naging big deal sa kanya ang pandemic. Dahil merong isang Mama Mary na nag-guide sa kanya at sa atin lahat para magbigay ng lakas ng loob para maharap yung pandemic o yung mga problema sa buhay. At napakaganda nga po ng ni Dr. Venice na talaga nakaka-inspire siya na para bang cool lang sa kanya yung nangyari. Dahil sa totoo lang naman po, pagka talagang ipinaubaya natin lahat sa Panginoon at kay Mama Mary, sigurang laging nandyan si Mama Mary na nakaagapay sa atin para ihingi tayo ng tulong sa ating Panginoon para yung lahat ng mga pagsubok, problema natin ay ating mapagtagumpayan. At ako naman po personally, yung pong tungkol naman po kay Our Lady of Remedies, naririnig ko lang po siya. Pero po, salamat sa Diyos at naki-join ako sa inyo. At salamat din po sa mga taga Our Lady of Remedies Parish na talagang na-inspired po ako. At tunay na nakilala ko si Our Lady of Remedies. si Remedios. Ayan. At na-inspire din po ako sa sharing ni Sister Ruby na para po bang habang nag-share po siya, nakikita ko yung sarili ko sa kanya. Na talagang, nga po, lalo na po nitong panahon ng pandemic, ang daming problema, ang daming pagsubok, lalo na financially. Pero para sa akin po, although naging palaisipan sa akin yung ano ba gagastusin, pero naniniwala po ako kung God will provide. At doon po sa time ng pandemic, nawalan po ng trabaho may manugang na po ako, may apo na rin ako. Wala ng trabaho yung manugang ko. Dalawa lang po yung anak ko. Sa akin nakatira yung anak ko na may asawa din, tsaka yung anak ko na dalaga. Sister Ruby, ang anak ko po ay public school teacher. Noong pong nagkaroon ng pandemic, kinabahan ako, sabi ko, naku, paano na yun ang sweldo ng anak ko? Paano na ang aming panggastos? Para konti lang naman sweldo ko. Nahinto pa. So, ayun. Alam niyo po, napakabuti ng Diyos. Pagka pala public school teacher. Ayun. At the same time po, simula po nung pandemic, dati po hindi kami nagdadasal sabay-sabay na mag-iina. Ngayon po, kasama po yung manugang ko, yung apo ko, sabay-sabay, araw-araw po nag-rosary po kami. Bago po kami mag-rosary, sasabihin namin lahat ng mga intention. And then after na intention, at saka pa lang kami nag-rosary sabay-sabay. Pati apo ko po, taga-sagot. Basta lahat ng luwalhati sa kanya. Yon. Tsaka po yung Oratio Imperata, sa apo ko po yon. 6 years old po yung apo ko. So, yun po. Tapos, dumating nga po yung time na nawalan ng trabaho yung manugang ko. Tapos, nahinto yung lahat ng aking mga mission. Nahinto rin yung aking mga sideline. Sabi ko, Lord, kayo na po ang bahala. Mama Mary, tulungan mo po ako. Lagi pong dinadasal namin mag-iina, kaming mga anak ko, tsaka manugang ko na, Lord, nawa po, pagkalooban po ng trabaho yung manugang ko, tapos po kayo na po ang bahala sa aming panggastos. Alam ko po na ikaw ang good provider. At praise the Lord, sa sama-samang panalangin ng rosary, ay doon during pandemic, sa kalagitnaan ng pandemic, nagkaroon ng trabaho yung manugang ko. Ako na yung ko sa co-op, bilang ako po ay vice chairman po doon, tuloy pa rin po yung aming board meeting, yung pag-duty. Kahit pa paano po nakakatulong. At sabi nga po ni Dr. Benny, kailangan lang po tayo ay mamuhay ng simple. At iyon po yung sabi nga niya, siya ay namumuhay ng simple. At iyon po yung natutunan ko during pandemic na matuto tayong mamuhay ng simple at tanggapin natin kung ano yung meron tayo. Makontento ka kung ano ang mayroon ka. At iyon po ang aming sharing. Maraming salamat po.
Wow, napakaganda naman po ng sharing ni Sister Tess. No? Relate na relate po kami sa inyong mga sinabi. So maraming salamat. So from Group 3, meron po ba tayong volunteer from Group 3? Sino po ba ang mga members ng Group 3?
Kami yata yun ni Brother Ernie. Tayo ba yun? Group 3?
Kami yata ni Sister Bing, di ba? Di ba tayong group?
Sige po.
Room 5 po tayo.
Okay.
5. O sige, pwede rin naman po kung ready na ang room 5. Sino po ang
sige po. Ako po ang natukahan ng dalawa kong tita sa grupo. Kasama ko po si Tita Cora Afuang at saka Mirna Perez. So, masaya po ang aming kwentuhan. We talked about our daily relationship with Mary na kagaya ni Ruby, no? So, very inspiring ang sharing ni Ruby. So, naano rin sa amin na, ganun nga ang relasyon natin kay Maria araw-araw. So, both of them, so mga widow and single parents na po sila. So, kung ano ang pagmamahal at devotion nila kay Mama Mary ay naipapasa rin sa kanilang mga anak, pati sa mga apo. Actually, si Tita Cora nga si Tita Cora sa Marikina, si Mirna naman sa Bulacan. Tapos sa Canada siya, kaya lang yung mother niyang 95 years old na inaalagaan niya ngayon sa Bulacan. So nandito siya. So ano rin, kahit na yung mga apo, tinuturuan na nilang mag-grocery. In fact, yung mga anak ni Tita Cora at saka apo, mga pangalan ay merong lahat Maria at saka Jose, Joseph at saka Mary. So ganun ka na. Tapos everyday din yung ganun na inaalay ang bawat araw kay Maria. Asking for strength, for endurance. So kung paano sila pinamamana sa mga anak, ganun din po experience ko sa mother ko, hindi lang sa mother ko, pati sa papa. Kasi si papa ay, ang birthday niya October 7, Our Lady of Rosary. So lumaki rin kami na talagang noon, nakaluhod pa kaming lahat, 10 kaming anak. Nakaluhod kami lahat pag nagro-rosaryo. So tapos nung college din ako, mama would always write me every week yan. Tapos lagi sa hindi nawawala sa sulat niya na offer your everyday to Mary. Pagising mo, sabihin mo kaagad kay Maria, bahala ka na sa araw na ito. So, salamat at may mga inang ganyan na nararamdaman natin ang pagiging ina ni Maria through them. Tapos sa panahon ngayon ng pandemic, ganun din po, ang aming panalangin ay hindi lang para sa kaligtasan ng sarili, ng mga mahal sa buhay. Pero nandyan din yung panalangin na sana ang ating mahal na ina ay ma-awaken ang mas maraming tao sa pag-care din sa ating inang kalikasan, na maging nanay din tayo sa inang kalikasan and care for them. And I shared to them a very beautiful part of Meister Eckhart's homilies. Si Meister Eckhart ay isang German mystic. Sabi po ni Meister Eckhart sa isang homily niya ay, asa na yun? What good is it to me that Mary gave birth to the Son of God 1400 years ago? 1400 nung panahon niya nang sinasabi niya ang homily na to. And I do not also give birth to the Son of God in my time and in my culture. We are all meant to be mothers of God. God is always needing to be born. So kahit na babae, lalaki, we are all called to be mothers of God. We are all called to give birth to God, to make God present in all that we do, in all that we say. So yun po ang panawagan ngayon that malapit ang Pasko, that we become mothers of God. Tapos ako, hindi ko to na-share personally sa kanina. Bago lang ang devotion ko sa Our Lady of Remedies, kasi hindi rin ni Mama kilalang Our Lady of Remedies. Ang mga nakilala ko kay Mama ay yun, Mother of God, Holy Rosary, Immaculate. Pero yung Our Lady of Remedies, ngayon din lang niya nakilala sa through me na. So bago din po ang devotion ko kay Mama Mary. Pero ngayong panahon talaga ng pandemic, naging napakalalim ng aking sa kanya devotion. So meron po akong sariling prayer ko for the pandemic, at yung sa medyo last part nandun si Mama Mary. Mary, Mother of God, Our Lady of Remedies, help of the sick, intercede for us and cover us with your maternal love and protection. So yan po ang daily prayer ko for all of us, for all humanity. At yun nga, sa grupo namin ay yung maging mother tayo sa buong creation, and to pray for the awakening of humanity to care for creation through the intercession of Mary.
Okay, maraming salamat Sister Bing, no? Napakaganda ng iyong prayer. Sana ma-share mo din sa amin yan pag may pagkakataon. Gusto ko pong dagdagan yung sinabi mo, kasi ganun din yung sharing ko kanina, na ang devotion ko to the Blessed Mother ay nakuha ko rin po sa aking mga magulang. At lalo na yung pagdarasal ng rosaryo, sabi ko nga doon sa dalawang kasama ko, si Tita Marge at si Miss Carmen, talagang pag nagdadasal po ako ng rosary, nakaluhod pa po ako doon sa altar namin at may nakasinding kandila. I especially did that during the time na I was already discerning yung kung sino po ang aking magiging lifetime partner. So talagang tinulungan po ako ni Mama Mary, pinagdasal ko po talaga ang aking beloved husband. So Alam ko pong denied niya ako. Anyway, so punta na po tayo sa group number 3, room number 3. Meron po ba tayong volunteer from room 3? Or room 4? Sino po ba ang nasa room 4? So baka nahihiya na silang mag-share. May oras pa po ba tayo for another sharer?
Yeah, Joy, meron.
Yeah, so maybe I'll just randomly call people, ha? Sabihin nyo kung...
6 and 6.
Siguro may we hear from si Brother Dodo from Diocese of Malaybalay. Brother Dodo or Benz Dayaw. Or kahit po doon sa mga ibang groups na natawag na, baka meron pa pong gustong mag-share. So that we will be inspired also by your anecdotes, inspirations on the 3 speakers earlier.
Ako po, ayan. Dagdag po, dagdag. Ayan.
Yes.
Ano po kasi, sabi ko nga kay Sister Joy, tsaka si kay Doc Benny, sabi ko, sa Our Lady of Fatima po kasi ko, ang akin devotion kay Our Lady of Fatima. Kasi po, mayroon po akong Christ on the Block na 3 grupo ng Christ on the Block na may naka-enthroned na Bible at Mama Mary. Every Tuesday po yon nag-ano po kami about akit panaog sa bahay-bahay. So, talaga nandun po yung aking devotion sa kay Our Lady of Fatima. Ngayon po, nung marinig ko po yung mga sharing nyo tungkol kay Our Lady of Remedy, sabi ko, nadagdagan ang aking devotion. Ngayon, nagkaroon po ako ng inspiration na maging devotion din, mag-devotion din ako kay Our Lady of Remedy. At sana nga po ay katulad ni Sister Ruby, maging malalim din yung aking devotion kay Our Lady of Remedy. Yun po. At kasi po talagang totoo po na yun po kasi pagdarasal ng rosaryo ay powerful. Dumating din po kasi yung time na yung ang lakas-lakas po ng bagyo, no? Yung po bang bagyong Pedring. Yung pong kapitbahay ko, tinangay ng buo yung bubong. Pagkatapos yung pong bubong namin isusunod na ng buhawi. Tapos po sabi ko sa mga anak ko, magdasal, sabi ko, maghawak kayo ng rosaryo. Lahat, tigi-tigi sa kayo ng rosaryo. Tapos magdarasal tayo ng rosaryo mula, di ba, 4 na, na mystery. Sinumulan po sa happy, sa tuwa, duwalhati. Tapos po, misteryo ng liwanag, lumiliwanag ang buong paligid. Habang natatapos po iyon. At yung pong bubong namin, praise the Lord, hindi po tinangay ng buhawi. Kaya po, napakaano po, kaya sabi ko sa mga anak ko, ay pagpatuloy nyo lang ang pagdarasal ng rosaryo at napakalaking bagay po ito para sa atin. Yun lang po.
Ay, maraming salamat, Sister Tess. So, marami po tayong mga narinig na very inspiring stories, sharings from our participants. So, at this point,
if Father John is raising his hand, Father John.
Brad, yes.
Joy, I just listening to yourself and Ruby, and we did a survey on people going to Malate a number of years ago, no? Why were they in Malate? What attracted them? And many love stories.
Yes,
I think it was a good meeting place and things like that. But their memories were, yeah, that's where we nagsimula kami.
Yeah. Yes, Father, true.
Brother Leo, we might develop a special devotion to for
that's something Father, that we can take up, Ruby.
Yes.
It's a good ministry, Father. Family life ministry.
You will be spearheading it, Joy. And,
yes, Father. Kasama ko si Artem.
Yes.
Okay. So, maraming salamat. So, at this point, maybe we can hear a few words from our just a short message from our speakers. Maybe we can start with Father John. Some closing words.
Let's trust that God is on our side and is leading us in all things, is leading us, and especially through Mary.
Maraming salamat, Father. Tita Ruby, Ate Ruby, any love advices for everyone?
Just continue praying. Just continue praying and be patient. Be patient lang ba? Pag humingi ka, wag naman agad-agad. Yung parang be patient. Ibibigay niya rin yan sa'yo. Tsaka, isa pa is, sumasagot siya through mga circumstances sa ibang tao. Kaya dapat very sensitive tayo kung ano yung sagot sa atin ni Mama Mary sa mga prayers natin. Yun lang. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you. So, Father Leo, for your closing message, please, Father.
Oh yeah, siguro, I mean, everything has been said. Nagpapasalamat lang po ako in behalf ng parokya at sa tulong po ng lahat-lahat na kasapi po ng parokya. Napakaganda pong pagkakataon ito, pagpapalalim, pagninilay tungkol sa ating pananampalataya at debosyon sa mahal na Inang Maria. At kagaya po ng nabanggit kanina ni Tess, I think it was Tess who mentioned that, na para ito yung paano sa atin, ito yung paanyaya sa atin that we are also, we have to be bearers, no, na dala-dala natin ang Panginoon sa ating buhay, at ito marahil ang gabay na binibigay ng ating mahal na Inang Maria. So I am thankful sa lahat-lahat po sa pagkakataon pong ito, at nagpapasalamat din ako sa pagkakataon na ibigay sa aming parokya na makapag-ambag po sa ganitong paraan. Maraming salamat po, and thank you, Joy.
Thank you, Father Leo. So bago po tayo magwakas, nais po naming humingi ng kaunting mensahe mula kay Brother June from Sangguniang Laiko ng Pilipinas. Brother June.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Kayo po ba'y naniniwala sa pag-ibig?
Yes,
kayo po ba'y naniniwala sa milagro? Nakarinig po tayo ng mga stories of love and miracles. And yun din po siguro yung hinihingi natin na ipakita palalo ng ating ina na siya isang tunay na ina ng pag-ibig at ng remedyo, ina ng mga milagro na maaari nating ibahagi pa sa ibang mga tao. So sa ngalan po ng Sangguniang Laiko ng Pilipinas, sa ngalan din po ng Global Catholic Climate Movement at sa lahat po ng mga kasama natin ngayon na tulong-tulong na pinopromote ito pong pagtanggap sa mga puso natin ng Our Lady of Remedies. Lumapit po tayo sa Kanya, marami pong biyaya doon. Puntahan po natin yon at sama-sama po nating hintayin ang pagdating ng Panginoon sa Paskong ito. Maraming salamat po.
So maraming salamat po. Isang mapagpalang hapon sa lahat. Stay safe, keep safe. So at this point, tayo po ay mananalangin na. So Tita Marge for our closing prayer.
Oh, there she is.
Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never
So maraming salamat po sa ating lahat.
Thank you.
Salamat po.
Salamat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po. Thank you po sa atin. God bless po sa atin lahat.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas po. Advance
Merry
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas po.
Lahat.
Ingat po tayong
Ang
lahat.
dami nating naka-red.